So everything that you've just watched was shot on a sensor about the quarter of the size of a full frame camera. And I see a lot of people that say that you can't shoot wildlife or even birds with a sensor that small because you need more light to follow those birds. So here's the gear that I use to prove them all wrong. And yes, I do use 2 camera bodies and 2 telephoto lenses together at the same time, and I'll tell you exactly why in a second. Now, a quick one before we get into it. I want to hear from you. I want to read in the comments, what kit do you use and what do you prefer for wildlife or bird photography? Do you use Micro Four Thirds or not? I love seeing people's kits and how they get creative with it. Now, let's start with the camera bodies. First up, we've got the OM1 Mark I. This is my main camera when it comes to photos for birds. The photo autofocus on this one just beats the G9 II by Lumix, which is my other camera body. I find that the autofocus is much faster and it locks onto your subjects and actually stays there. The G9 II is not bad per se, but it's just not as fast as the OM1 in my opinion. Plus, the OM1 has real bird detections, so it's looking for the bird's eyes and not just the nearest blob of contrast. On the G9 II you get animal detection, but not specifically bird detection. I find that it does work well on birds, but I find that the OM1 is just better. Now, I have a whole video on my bird photography settings on the OM1 that's linked. I'm sure that can help you set up your gear, but it can be applied to more than just the OM1. Then I've got the G9 II from Lumix. This one really doesn't leave me ever because it's my slow motion / video body. And when I'm taking photos of birds, I often find myself wanting to take slow motion videos as well. There's something that automatically makes it cinematic, and I find it gives a new dimension to the birds. Like, we get to know them a bit better through slow motion videos. This camera shoots at 120p at 4K, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me. My OM1 is capped at 60p for 4K, and on the G9 II I also get more megapixels than the OM1, so I can crop a bit more than what I do with the OM1 and still keep the shot. And let's be real, in bird photography you're always wishing you had more reach, right? So that cropping room on the G9 II is very welcome. That's definitely one thing that I do envy on those 30 and 40 megapixel cameras that are full frame. I do have to say that the raw files coming out of the G9 II are also nicer, in my personal opinion. I find that the colors are just richer and look nicer. But let's be honest, the colors is one of the easiest things to fix in post, so I won't pretend that it's a real reason I use the G9 II. It's just nice not to have to edit too much. Also, the buttons on the Lumix fall just perfectly under my fingers, but that's totally a personal thing. Your hands might completely disagree with me on that. So for photos, I will typically go for the OM1, and then when I want to do some slow motion videos, well, at least I have that option and go with the G9 II. Alright, so now let's move on to the lenses. I mainly use 2 of them, both by OM, and the first one is a 300mm f4 by OM system. It's by far the sharpest long-reaching lens I own, and there's no contest about it. And lately, well, it lives on my G9 II, except for when I'm filming these videos, of course. In terms of 35mm equivalency, we're looking at the equivalent of 600mm on this lens, and it's super sharp. The catch though is that it's a prime lens, right? There's no zoom. And we hear a lot with prime lenses, well, just frame with your feet. Well, that's a bit more complicated when it comes to wildlife because, well, the bird is there for just 2 seconds and then flies away. So you're not going to jog 30 feet to recompose. You're going to turn around and the bird is definitely gone. So you shoot with what you've got and you crop the rest. Which is exactly why the 100-400 by OM system comes with me also. Now it's a little less sharp than the prime lens, but I do get a zoom, so I frame it right there instead of fixing it later. So with the 300mm, you're stuck with that one framing, and then you can crop, but it's very clear. On the 100-400, it's less sharp, but you can frame it perfectly right there. One thing you can also do is position yourself where birds often land and get good photos that way. But that also comes with next level patience if you're not feeding the birds. Now, having flexibility on the 100-400 also opens up other shots. I get to pull back from a bird and its environment, even zoomed in on some landscape, and that flexibility is really gold to me. And then still in the theme of glass, well, I have the 1.4 teleconverter by OM system, and a myth I want to put to rest here is that the OM teleconverters only play fair with OM cameras. I can confirm that I've used it on my G9 II with no problems at all, no issues with autofocus, and the photos are very sharp still. Now I don't always use it, so I just keep it in the bag, but when I do need it, it's very useful and it's very clear for a teleconverter. Now I don't use a teleconverter on the 100 to 400 millimeter because personally I find that beyond 400 millimeter, well, you're introducing a bit too much of the environmental distortions. Especially on very warm summer days, that haze is very visible beyond 400 millimeters. But on cooler mornings, well, it certainly can pass. Now, I'll be honest with you though, I've never tried a native Lumix long lens on the G9 II, so I can't tell you how good their telephoto glass is and how it works well with the G9 II versus the OM1. But that's a future video possibly. Now, please do tell me though, what Lumix long lens should I test? I don't know if there are too many options, but let me know which ones you use and how you find them. Maybe even save me a few bucks. Now, some might ask, why do I use micro four thirds for birds at all? Well, it really comes down to reach. With the smaller sensor and the crop factor, it means that my 300 millimeter is going to act like a 600 millimeter. The 100 to 400 will act like a 2 to 800, and even slap that 1.4 teleconverter and it's way more. With a full frame, you're hauling lenses that, can cost as much as a car and weigh as much as a toddler. And when you're hiking all day with this on your shoulder, well, that weight and size is really a game changer. Now, you do lose some of that depth of field shallowness, if I can say it that way, but a lot of people like that. For birds, I don't want a depth of field so shallow that I'm getting only half of the face in focus. Now, I want to get into the non-camera stuff that honestly does matter a lot too. I use binoculars, and to me that's a non-negotiable. I find and ID birds way faster without having to yank my camera up every 2 seconds and hauling that, heavier equipment up to my face. I spot the bird first and I try to look at its environment and how I can frame the photo, and then I'm going to pull up the camera and try to take a good photo. It saves me a lot of time in editing too, because I'm not taking too many shots that I don't like, that I'm not going to use. Not only am I taking less photos that I'm not using, but you'd be shocked at how many more good photographs you're actually coming home with. There's less of, let me take a photo so I can ID it. And then there's a Merlin app that I put on my phone. It's a totally free app, so please do download it if you're interested. But what it does is that it listens to the birds that are calling around me, and it's going to ID them. And sometimes it'll even point me to where to look. So if you're new to birding, this is definitely one of the fastest way to get to IDing birds. Do know though that the app is not perfect. Sometimes it's going to hear a bird that is really just your phone brushing on your clothes. So do try to visually spot the birds before saying that bird was present. Now, another real problem that is not talked about too much is how do you carry all of this equipment, these 2 cameras and these 2 big lenses all day without getting too sore or even missing a shot. My solution is with cotton carrier. I use this chest mount and I lock my 2 cameras, one on my chest and one on my hip. And that allows me to be ready for the shot and not having to dig into my bag and trying to find my equipment. My second camera is going to be on my hip, but I do adjust it lightly so it doesn't hit my leg when I'm walking. I also have a Peak Design mount that I put on my bag's strap, so I can just clip my camera right here on my shoulder and grab it instantly. So with this, both of my cameras are just seconds away. My hands are free while I'm hiking to, have that good stability and mobility, and even using my binoculars while I'm hiking. How do you carry your gear out there? I went through about 4 setups before I landed on this one, so tell me, what is your setup? I'm always looking to tweaking mine. Now, last thing I want to mention is my tripod. Bit of a confession, I always pack a tripod, but I basically never use it. The image stabilization on the G9 II is absolutely crazy. I handhold pretty much all of my videos, and it looks pretty locked on. And when it comes to chasing birds, well, that tripod just slows me down anyways. I don't own a gimbal style tripod head, but maybe that's something I'll invest in eventually. I still bring my ball head tripod for, those odd static setups when I'm really waiting for a bird to land somewhere or to take off, especially in winter when it's very, very cold. But typically I won't be using my tripod. Just the image stabilization on both of these cameras is really solid. So that's my kit, the OM1 for photos and the G9 II mainly for videos, but also great photos. And I use a 300mm for great sharpness and the 100-400 for that flexibility. Those binoculars and Merlin app do come in handy so often. I do really recommend it to you. Now I hope this all helps out and possibly some setup ideas for you. But again, I want to hear from you and what do you use in your setup? Do you have any tips for other bird photographers? If you like this video, please subscribe. I love to post videos about camera gear, Micro Four Thirds gear, and even POV photography videos. I hope you have a great one, and I'll catch you again in the next.